Welcome back to the channel. This is Adam the First Man. Today we're going to take two pendants that are in raw casting form and we're going to finish them and create something cool. We start off by sanding. The sanding gets just the casting finish off of the pendants. There's one here that's silver and one that is bronze. The one right now I'm working on is bronze. So I'm going to sand all the surfaces to get the casting finish off, and that'll begin the process of the finish work. Once the sanding's done, I'll step down to a rubber wheel and then a polish. But for this step, I just keep sanding and sanding and sanding and sanding. And as you've noticed in my previous videos, a lot of finish work goes into the jewelry process. And here's the sterling silver piece. And this one is the same exact process. We're gonna go ahead and sand all the casting finish off, get it down to raw material, and then we'll step up our polishes and so we can get into a mirror finish. Here's what it looks like when the sanding is finished. There's all the sanding marks, all the abrasive marks, but at least it's down to more of a raw material. And now the blue rubber wheel, which is one of my favorites, that removes the previous finish's marks. So the sanding disc leaves gouges, and then this rubber wheel will take the gouges out from the sanding disc, and then from there I can step up to a polish. So this is basically a 3-step process to get it to a polish with these pendants. Now we're going to move on to the hammered finish. So on these pieces, I typically will do some sort of texture on the recessed areas, and then the curvy swirly part that holds the gem, I'll do a high polish on that. So here I am doing a hammered finish on this one, and I'm using kind of a square piece of steel, and I'm just going around and I'm putting my hammer marks in the entire face of the piece. One thing about being a jewelry designer is that sometimes you don't like the finish or the texture that you did previously. So you saw me using the square piece of steel for my texture, and I didn't like how it turned out. So I'm actually going over the top of it with a really small, round and domed, polished, small piece of steel. So that's going to give me more of a sparkly finish, which you can see here. The sterling silver piece will get a peridot, and the bronze piece will get a cupric zirconia. And I do the bronze so it's a representation of gold, but I don't have to use the same, it doesn't have the same cost as it would to put gold in my case. So it gives people an idea what gold will look like with a diamond. So this is bronze and cupric zirconia. And here I'm burring out the seat for this gem to sit in. So I have a precise burr that's the exact same size as my gem, and I get it so it just fits in there. Next, I'm going to put a little beeswax and rub it over the top of the gem so it doesn't pop out when I start setting it. And here I have a reciprocating hand piece on my flex shaft, which is foot operated, and this little hammering piece is so handy. I'm able to push the material over the edge of the gem, and that way it's extremely secure and it's not going to come out of there. And that's, you know, something that I love to do in all my designs is not use any prongs. So you'll notice throughout my videos, I don't use prongs on any of my pieces because they always catch on things. they tend to wear out quickly. They just cause problems in my opinion. So I'd rather not have people down the road need to keep repairing and getting a new crown for their ring or pendant or having it catch on things. So I always set everything in either the bezel or a channel setting or a flush setting, just anything without prongs. And one thing about gem setting, it is touchy work. You have to be very careful. You want the gems secure, but you don't want to put too much pressure on it because you can break them. And ask any jeweler, ask any stone setter, ask any goldsmith, and we've all broke gems. It's just part of the job, it's part of what happens. But as you learn, as you practice, that happens less and less often, and you gain more and more confidence as you go. Our gems are secure, so now we're going to go back through and polish out all the hammer marks that we put onto the material when we were setting the gems. In this process, we just go through same steps, reduce the abrasiveness, and do a polish. And here's the final result. After I polished everything up, they turned out great, and some lucky customer will get to wear these around their neck.